Welcome to ENN. I'm Brian Baumgartner.
And I'm Emily Aarons, and this is your weekly news update. Social media is on the rise, and the internet is connecting the world in many ways. But that doesn't mean it's always safe. October is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. ENN's Dave Bikenish has more.
Nowadays, we laugh at how old movies portray computer hacking. Hollywood always seems to overcomplicate the ways a person would try to steal another's information on the internet. While you can feel safe knowing that no one out there will get to your private files through something as convoluted as this, it is important to make sure you have the knowledge to stay secure online, because thieves are using much simpler methods to get to your personal files. October is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, started in 2004 by the Department of Homeland Security and announced yearly by presidential proclamation. The point is to make everyone aware how to protect their identities and make sure the internet is a safe place for everyone to be. But what does that mean on a local scale? Mark Lilly is Edinboro's Student Net Coordinator. He's responsible for overseeing the daily operations of the campus's network, and he suggests the most basic way to protect yourself.
Always make sure that their antivirus is not only present but up to date, and by that is make sure they have their updates. You can have a antivirus program running, but if you don't have the definitions up to date, it's only as good as your last definitions.
Not only does it matter for your own computer, when you're on campus and you're working, it's not hard when you use the internet for a virus to go from anywhere on campus. Like, it's very important that we keep our whole Edinboro network protected, because there's thousands of computers on at a time, thousands of internet connections going, and it's very easy to spread a virus throughout a community when you have that.
One of the most common places for these viruses to appear in any one of your daily music or video downloads. Peer-to-peer file sharing is popular, but it opens up everything on your computer to anyone who claims to have the file you're searching for.
You know, it works is you're sharing your information out and you're pulling information in from a multitude of different sources that have that same resource that you're looking for. So you may be very fortunate and get connected to people who have no infections on their machine. But if you do, then you're bringing in that potential infection into your machine.
And what of Twitter, Facebook, or any of the online shopping sites that contain all sorts of your personal information? Mark says using these sites around campus isn't always the best idea.
You always got to do it with a certain amount of expected risk. There is no steps that you can take to make sure it's safe. That being said, I would say limit the amount of online business you do. Don't save that, if you see the option, do you want us to save a password on this computer? Do you want us to save your account information for future use? Avoid maybe doing that.
Sometimes a risk to your identity online may be hard to determine. With social media ever prominent, a certain group of thieves, known as phishers, use these sites as a disguise to get the information that they want.
When you put your whole life out there, then you're actually exposing yourself to everything. Be very cautious if you're receiving things back in exchange that you haven't necessarily asked for. And that's the hard part, because with the social media that's out there, it's so dynamically fluid. It's hard to say that your friend didn't send you a picture. But if you see a posting from a friend, here's a picture, but if you notice the spelling might be a little bit wrong, or the caption of their picture is somewhat cryptic, that's sometimes how they're actually communicating.
The internet is a vast resource, but has many dangers. It is important to be aware of them, not just this month, but every time you log on. Around town and on campus, I'm Dave Bikenish for ETV.
Edinboro residents, students, families, and alumni filled the streets of Edinboro to enjoy homecoming October 7th and 8th. Covered head to toe in plaid, Fighting Scots fans attended the football game, parade, and other events around town. ETV reporters Andriana Dulce and Mary Jo Maloney went out to get students' reactions to the weekend-long festivities.
Probably the football game.
What I would like to see next year for homecoming is a spirit week.
I don't know, more team spirit, I guess.
More activities leading up to it. Yeah, a little more activity, like a couple games and stuff like that, little fun activities.
If you're walking around campus lately, you may be feeling a bit outdated. It seems the latest trend for students looking to get around campus in a hurry is choosing skateboards over walking. Students credit this speedy method of transportation as having many benefits.
A lot of people see skateboarders and they like skateboarding. It gets you to class fast. Edinboro is very skateboard friendly, so there's a lot of places you can skateboard around here pretty easily.
The Board of Governors of the Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education approved an increase in requests for state appropriations of $8.6 million for next year. The proposed budget addresses employee benefits such as health care and retirement funds. Stay tuned for national news with Josh Petruska, followed by weather and sports.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad today.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
In national news, international arms dealer Victor Boud, who dodged authorities for nearly 2 decades, will finally stand trial on counts of conspiracy to kill Americans and wire fraud, amongst others. The majority of the charges arise from a stinger operation carried out by the DEA in Bangkok in 2008 when Boud was arrested. DEA agents came into contact with Boud while they were posing as rebels from Colombia, looking for large caches of weapons. Boud claims he has never sold any weapons, but simply oversees the shipping of the products. Expect to hear testimony in the coming weeks from agents and authorities involved in this sting. United States authorities forward a terror plot to be carried out in Washington, D.C. A bomb targeted to blow up the Israeli and Saudi embassies would have included the assassination of the United States ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Adel El-Jabir. A federal criminal complaint to use a weapon of mass destruction was filed Tuesday against Mansour Arbabzior and Ghulam Shakuri and their connection to the attempted bombing. The United States is expected to hold Iran responsible for the attacks and expect the United Nations to place sanctions against Iran. Not all of the details are available at present, but more information is expected to be released in the coming days and weeks.
Hey there, Timmy. Are you tired of walking all the way to class? How about in the rain? In the snow? Sick of trying to find a parking spot, paying for gas, or parking tickets? Wouldn't you rather spend your money at places like Walmart, Erie, or the Mill Creek Mall? Shopping, class, the movies, wherever life takes you, EMTA can get you there. Ride free with your student ID.
Hi, I'm David Champion with this week's weather. Well, this week's weather is nothing like last week's weather when we had 77 degrees. Instead, on Monday, we'll have mostly cloudy skies with a high of 57, a low of 50. On Tuesday, we'll have a chance of thunder showers with a high near 53 and a low of 43. Continued showers on Wednesday with a high of 50 and a low of 43. On Thursday, we'll have showers with a high near 51 and a low of 41. Finally, we'll get out of the shower funk on Friday with a high of 53 and a low of 42. So I would say get your rain ponchos and umbrellas out of your closet, because you'll need them this week.
Yeah, good game.
Oh, there we go.
Great game, man.
Let's go get a win!
This year's MVP goes to Jake.
Take steroids and eventually everyone will see you for what you really are. A fake, a fraud, an asterisk. Don't be an asterisk.
Hello and welcome back to ENN Sports. I'm Patrick Nuzzo. Your Edinboro Fighting Scots football team took on Slippery Rock at homecoming at Sox Harrison Stadium. Cody Harris was out for the first time this season, leaving the ball in the hands of young quarterback Ty Stolt. In the first quarter,
Cody Andres takes the snap, drops back, finds Kevin Sanders for the 14-yard gain as he runs down the sideline deep into Edinboro territory. However, the drive stalled. The Rock brings on Kurt Brackman, and he hits a 31-yard field goal. The Rock up early, 3-0, and they're on the board first. On to the second quarter, where Ty Stolt started picking apart the Rock defense. Here he finds Marcus Johnson, usually Cody Harris's favorite target, for the 26-yard gain. 2 plays later, Stolt drops back and lobs the ball deep down the left side, where Nick Marino, the graduate student, comes up with it and gets into the end zone. After the missed extra point, Edinboro up 6-3. Later on in the second quarter, somewhat of a bizarre play here. Andres finds Kevin Sanders in the left flat, but as he goes down, the ball is jarred loose by Devin Gafford, and it's picked up by Ventre Robinson, who returns it 15 yards for the touchdown. Edinboro with a nice 13-3 lead going into the half. In the third quarter, Scott's looking to build on the lead. Stolt with a deep throw down the left side, and the pass is complete, but to the wrong team. SRU's Brandon Waters comes up with the ball. However, once again, SRU can't do anything with it. After another interception by Stolt, Slippery Rock looking for a field goal to make it a 1-score game, but it's blocked. Defensive specialist Ryan Skelton breaks to the line and gets his hand on the ball, and James Jackson picks it up off the turf and takes it 62 yards for the touchdown. That's his second big touchdown in 3 weeks. He is something else on the defensive side of the ball for this Edinboro team. Edinboro with a comfortable 20-3 lead. Slippery Rock comes right back though. The ensuing drive, Andres finds his running back LaQuinn Stevens-Howling on the dump-off. Howling scampers up the right side of the field, breaks a couple tackles, makes it to the Edinboro 25. A few plays later, Andres finds Ken Amos for the 20-yard gain down the middle. SRU is definitely knocking on Edinboro's door at this point. The Rock with a 3rd and 7 at the Edinboro 8. Andres takes the snap in the shotgun, goes back to Ken Amos for the touchdown in the back of the end zone. Slippery Rock draws the deficit to just 10. After that touchdown, Edinboro gets the ball back. Stolt looking for his man down the right side. The ball gets batted up in the air, and the Rock's Andre Freeman comes down with it. One of many turnovers on the day. This one not really Stolt's fault though. Got batted up in the air. Anything's game at that point. SRU made their way down the field to the Edinboro 6 and were looking ready to score when once again Ryan Skelton makes a big play and he forces the fumble as Akeem Satterfield puts it on the turf. But just when it looked like Edinboro was getting a break, the very next play, Stolt fumbles the snap and gives it right back to Slippery Rock. This had to be a heartbreaker, had to be a tough time. You thought Edinboro was going to get back in the game. But Andres wastes no time as he finds Stevens-Howling for the 4-yard score. Slippery Rock right back in the game, 20-17. Well, they were once down 17, now down 3. Later on in the fourth quarter, another fumble from Akeem Satterfield, usually good with the ball. This time it was deep in his own zone. This led to a 39-yard field goal from Alex Romanius, making the score 23-17. After a few stalled drives, Slippery Rock ends up with the ball at their own 46 and with 5:21 left. That's where Cody Andres and SRU went to work. Andres with the fake handoff, and he's going to find his favorite target, Devin Goda, who makes his way down the Edinboro 25. A beautiful little play, got a lot of yards on that. Later on, 4th and 2 for the Rockets could have been it, but Andres fakes the handoff again, takes the ball up the middle himself, and gets the first down. You can tack on 5 extra yards for the personal foul there at the end. Skelton came in high and late and got called for it. And you would think at this point, 5 yards is pretty big. Andres' next play, quick slant to Devin Goda, his favorite target, makes his way into the end zone. And after having a 20-3 lead, Edinboro is down 24-23. But with 1 timeout and 2:22 left, Edinboro still had a chance. Ty Stolt on the 4th and 10 rolls out to his right and finds Marcus Johnson. You know, what a beautiful play by the freshman quarterback. Still have life, next play finds Johnson again for the 9-yard gain, putting them in SRU territory, still with 1 timeout and 1:45 left. Edinboro looked effective running the no huddle, even with the freshman as in the quarterback position. Here, Stolt looks deep for DeAndre Vaughn. Pass interference called on the play. As you can see, DeAndre Vaughn had a little contact with the defender, fell over. The referee called it. It's another 15 valuable yards. Very close to field goal position for Romanius. But here's the play that left everyone talking. Ty Stolt scrambles, looking for a receiver, can't find one. He's going to take it himself and causes a fumble. From our perspective and the radio booth perspective, we all thought it was not a fumble. We thought his knees were down, but After the referees got together, they concluded it was a fumble, and Edinboro loses this one in a heartbreaking fashion, 24-23. The women's volleyball team recorded their 4th straight win with a 3-0 victory over Mercyhurst. Edinboro never trailed in the first set, but they almost let Mercyhurst walk away with the second one. After being down 18-9, the Scots stormed back to tie the set at 21-all before eventually winning it. Gina Booth, who was named PSAC West Volleyball Athlete of the Week, led the team with 10 kills. Senior Kelsey Helmer added 9 kills, and Brittany Flynn provided 16 digs. The ladies are now 18-4 and move on to play Gannon, Cal, and Indiana. The women's soccer team is back in the top 25 as they are now ranked 23rd in the NCAA Division II poll. After their 1-0 victory over Lock Haven, the Scots are now 10-3 and 7-3 in the PSAC. The Scots are also ranked 3rd in the Atlantic Regional rankings, trailing Cal and Kutztown. Senior forward Samantha Kaiser is ranked 12th in the nation with an average of 2.25 points per game. She has 11 goals to go along with Carissa Fernandez's 7 assists and Elizabeth Debo's 5 goals. The ladies look to improve their ranking as they travel to Shippensburg and host Clarion in their upcoming games. That's all I have for you this week, but tune in next week for more sports news.
Remember to email edinborotv@gmail.com with any story ideas that you have.
That's all we have for you this week. Tune in next week for more.